Hey, David, you asked me why it works. One of the links on my website is why they say it works. So if they go there, there's a video of some of my past clients saying why it helped them, why they think they were able to resolve their disagreements. And you mentioned what's next. I actually started a year ago working on a phone app to help couples work through their disagreements with their phone app. Now, it has to work a certain way in order for it to have the same success rate. And the company I was using a year ago just were not coming through and meeting their milestones the way I needed them to, so I dropped that. And right now I am trying to get it going again, and hopefully in a few months and the app will be done. And if you know anybody, if any of your listening audience out there has contacts in the TV world, I'd like to do a live TV show where, sort of like Jerry Springer, but none of it "he slept with my sister" thing. We just have we just have an audience full of couples, and the couples will type in the problem they're having and how long it's been going on, and then maybe the TV audience will get their vote on which couple gets to come up on stage, and then they will kind of on the big screen, with the big screen in their background, work out their own disagreement without a therapist or a coach. I'll be there to make sure they play the game right. I'll be the referee. But besides that, the studio audience and the TV audience can watch people resolve all these different disagreements, and I think that would be interesting. We could get that point. Good. Because some of these issues are kind of juicy. and hey, when you see people, or when you watch the YouTube videos and you see people playing the game, the couples playing the games, and they're laughing, there's nothing in the game that's funny. There are no jokes in there. The people are just laughing about what the other person, what their partner is saying, or what's been said, and which never happens when you're trying to resolve a disagreement with your spouse. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to a lot.
Welcome back to Living the Next Chapter. I have someone joining me today who's on a mission to help us reduce the amount of separation and divorce happening in our homes. And he's done it in a unique way with his book and a game. They go hand in hand. And Rod is here today to talk about why we should not be angry and why we should try to build a relationship that's strong and powerful as couples. And he's on a mission, and he's going to take his RV around the world and help people on their journey of saving and restoring their relationships. Rod Jeter on Living the Next Chapter. Rod, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, David. Good to see you again, man.
All right.
Hey, David, I do want to clarify that I won't be taking my RV around the world, because it won't be too good on the Atlantic or the Pacific,
You're going to be a big, famous, fancy pants a guy going around the world, and people are going to pay your way, and you're going to help so many people. So I'm talking about the future.
I'm looking forward to that.
Right. Good stuff. Rod, we had you on Dad Space to talk about relationships and how YBAngry, the game, and now the book can be a great resource for couples in taking even years and years of frustrations and solving them in minutes, which is, I don't know, it's amazing. And we talked before we hit record that you have a mission and a goal in your life. Maybe we'll talk about that. But you're going to bring peace, right? And
That's
you should
my
get
goal.
an award for bringing peace. See what I'm doing there? A peace award should be yours for bringing peace to our homes. Tell us a little bit about the origin of YBAngry, the game, and now the book. People listening, they're like, what are we talking about? Can you kind of start? Let's start at the beginning. YBAngry, the game. How did this even start?
Great. So, David, I always tell people that my wife is an absolutely wonderful person. And but after about being married for about 10 years, some reason I wanted a divorce. I was just not happy, and I just wanted a divorce, but I didn't have a reason to get a divorce. So we went to marriage counseling, and they spent the first 4 weeks assessing us to see if we were even suitable for counseling. So on the 5th week, they said, okay, you guys are suitable for counseling, and you're going to get another 8 to 12 weeks of counseling. And unfortunately, though, well, maybe fortunately, on that 5th week, we were kicked out of counseling. And I had never heard that before, but that's what happened. And really, it was me. I was being stubborn. I didn't want to do the exercise the counselor wanted us to do. So just a couple of days later, I said to myself, I remember saying, Lord, if I'm going to stay in this relationship, I need to see some progress right now. So I sat down and started working on something because I really wanted to help other couples not go through what I felt like my wife and I had experienced over the last, at least what I was experiencing over the last few years. And the most recent experience of being kicked out of counseling. And while I was working on that, I realized that if my wife and I had been able to resolve our disagreements as they occurred, I wouldn't be in the position I was in. So I just was working on something to help couples resolve their disagreements. And I think God just blessed me with it, because I don't think I could have come up with something that has such a high success ratio. I mean, success like it does, because it just works every time. So I created the game, YBAngry, and it's just a little pamphlet that really, provides a structure for couples to communicate clearly and resolve their disagreements quickly. And it just works. And for a couple of years now, I've been going around the country, helping couples resolve disagreements that have lasted decades, 10, 20, 30, 40 years. On average, they resolve it in less than 26 minutes. So here we are. And then last week, I decided to write a book to help explain it. Now, and the book is called YBAngry. They can get it on my website, YBAngry.com. Just type out YBAngry.net, not .com.
Yeah.
That was already taken.
Oh, no.
YBAngry.net. Or they can find it on Amazon. But I did the book to help explain more about the game and my experience, some of my experience with the game. Now, you might notice that the book is pretty small here. Mm-hmm. It's only like 68 pages. And to me, that's like an extra value. You don't have to read a big old thick book.
Yeah.
It take months to figure out how to resolve disagreements with your partner. The book is so small, David, because it's simple. And how to do this. I'm just a regular guy. I have a master's degree in software engineering, but I walked away from computers in like 2001. So I have no background in psychology or marriage and family therapy. This is something that I just sat down and I think God just blessed me with, and it works. And what I'm saying is, if it's simple enough for a regular guy like myself to be able to come up with this, then it's likely simple enough for a regular couple, regular people to use and get the benefit of, by resolving their disagreements.
Yeah. Now, you say, Rod, that you're a regular guy like all of us, but I want to challenge that. Because you're doing something special in the world that not a lot of people have even thought or considered to do. That's important. So in that sense, I would say you're not just an average regular guy.
Thank you.
As well, you've done something amazing for your country. You've served your country and done it in a spectacular way. And that needs to be honored and mentioned as well. Thank you, for serving your country and for doing what you've done. Because that I can't, as someone who hasn't done what you've done, again, that makes you special. I can't imagine how that training and experience that you've done serving your country for that many years doesn't have something to play with who you are and how you see the world and the training and all the stuff they've poured into you over the years. Can you talk a little bit about your military background? Because I want to honor that. I have a special place on my show for anyone who's done what you've done. So again, thank you. But tell us a little bit about your background too.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I joined the military. I was in boot camp 10 days after I graduated high school.
Wow.
My dad was a really good dad. He encouraged me to get out of there, so I was ready to go when I turned 18. And I actually signed up a year before I graduated high school because my dad had been laid off for a little while and I didn't think college was an option for me. But I'm really glad I went to the military. I joined the Navy, and in the first 6 years, I had gone to like 25 different countries. And I'm happy to say that because I know a lot of people can't say that, but that was when I look back, that was a really good time and a good experience for me. The last 4 years of my career, I spent in San Diego, teaching sonar electronics to military. So it was good for me. The military has been good for me.
Yeah.
And that's about it. My dad really prepared me a lot for the military, and because my dad spent a little time in the military, and my dad wasn't a pushover to live with, so I had to follow somebody's rules, whether I liked them or not, because they were who they were, what position they were in. So that made it easier for me to do well.
Thank you for serving, though.
Thank you.
Like, again, when you say, I'm just an average guy, there's something special about you. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that as well so people can understand that.
Thank you, David. I appreciate that.
So, okay, so the game is in the world. And we mentioned that you've been traveling around in your RV doing some pretty amazing in-person sessions, which we can find on your YouTube channel, which we'll talk about and I'll have links to in the show notes. But you actually go... This has got to be unnerving, but you're going into like strangers' houses in some cases, meeting these couples who have been having some issues in their relationship, communication issues, or there's stress in the home, which then filters down to their kids or their community, right? And here you come in with a game in your hand and hope, and you get these two people who might be at odds to sit down. And sometimes it's even hard to get them to sit down at the table just to start the game, right? But you get them to sit down and then start going through this. And you said you could take 25 years of history and fix it, in a sense, by playing the game in minutes, by just having them do the game. Okay, you got to give us a little bit behind the scenes of what the secret sauce is here. Rod, we got to know, like, how is it possible to take 25 years of issues and fix it in minutes? There's got to be a secret sauce here.
Well, David, after every session, I always ask the couple, why after so many years were you able to resolve this in just a few minutes? And I've gotten a number of different answers. A lot of times the lady will say, I feel heard. So, like I said, the game provides a structure to help the couples communicate clearly. And one guy has said he felt like the game forced him to listen, he said, it forced me to listen, it forced me to hear what my wife was saying. One lady said, I think it was the writing, because in the game, you have to write. Most of the time, you have to write before you talk. And I think what that does is it allows a person to, it slows the communication down and allows a person to think before they say something, giving a quick emotional response. You have to think, well, is this what I really mean? Actually, a guy said that in one of the videos. It made him say, is this what I really mean? Is that what I really want to say? So another person says it leveled the playing field. Now, I believe in every relationship, one person is going to be more articulate or more dominant, and they are better at getting their thoughts across, which leaves the other person always, on the feeling like they're on the losing end.
Right.
But with this game, it levels the playing field, and it allows both people to say their piece. And one of the major benefits of the game, which I mentioned in my TED Talk, is that no one has ever, over the last few years, no one has ever written profanity or even an exclamation mark on the cards in the game. So there's no yelling and there's no cursing, which means no one is feeling attacked and no one has to feel like they need to defend themselves. This is the kind of game where you can't win by yourself. The relationship has to win or you both lose. So the couple, these people, they're on the same side trying to accomplish the same goal, which is the problem. The problem is the problem, not your partner.
Yeah.
So it's you and your partner trying to resolve this problem, and it just works every time. 2 weekends ago, I left. A lady called me on a Wednesday, and actually she reached out to me via text, and I called her, and she had been reaching out to me for 2 years. Now, she hadn't bought the book. She hadn't purchased the game. I'm sure that whether she purchased the book or not, I don't think she did. But I listened to her, and she finally agreed to just take my program because, she's up to here. And so I said, I'm going to go. I left a message on my Facebook saying, I'm going to drive down to Fort Myers, Florida from South Carolina, and I'm going to help this couple resolve 5 issues on Saturday and 5 issues on Sunday. Well, on my way down there, I had forgotten that Sunday was Super Bowl Sunday. And, I didn't want to be in their house, and I wanted to be back, at least in Georgia by then, and so I can watch it comfortably. So what happened, I went to their house, and about 9:30 Saturday morning, we started, and I helped that couple using the YBAngry game resolve 9 I don't know if they were all major, but 9 big issues in less than 12 hours. And that included them taking me to lunch and driving me around town, showing me the remnants of some hurricane that came through there a year or two ago. 9 issues in one day. The first issue, now, I always tell people there was a time, and you had mentioned it earlier, you kind of insinuated that I didn't know it was going to work sometime when I got there, when I arrived. Well, I wasn't sure about this couple because, like I said, I've been listening to this lady for a couple of years now. And one of their main issues is, she says, everybody says her husband drinks too much. So I was concerned if that was going to be an issue I could help them resolve. Not curing his alcoholism, but having them come to an agreement about it. And that was the first one we tackled. And they've resolved that in less than half. I'm pretty sure it was less than half an hour. It was pretty amazing. And the last one they did was, should we split the bills 50-50? That was another one I was wondering if they were going to be able to resolve that one. Now, the alcohol one, drinking less, that had been a problem for about 25 years. Splitting the bills, she said that's been an issue for her for 9 years because she's been carrying all the weight for the last, since 2015. But they knocked that out in no time. No time. Wow. So I always follow up on my the people that I help. So initially I was followed up about 6 months later, but this couple had so much going on. I followed up with them about 4 or 5 days later. And I talked to them both separately, and they both said things were just going just fine. And I was concerned that he was going to say he was going to stop drinking so much and then actually not,
Yeah.
because it was a bad habit. And but everything was going really, really good. Well,
I love the idea that you're bringing peace to people's homes. We talked
mhm,
about there's an award, a very famous award that has the word peace, an award in it. And I don't think it's bragging to dream about this because you are on a mission. You do
yeah,
have a hope and a dream to do something special for homes around, North America, around the world. People are listening to this podcast.
right.
And I don't see it as unattainable. Rod, can you tell us your dream? Because I think of when we talk about our dream out in public, then we start thinking about it more. It's kind of like something that we put in front of us that we come up to, and then when we get to it, we push it a little further ahead, and we come up to it again. We just keep it in front of us, and we keep moving toward it. Whether it happens or not is something that just kind of reminds us that what we're doing matters. That's the main reason why I want to talk about this. But you have a goal. Tell us your goal.
Okay. Hey, David, I realized I didn't change my internet. So I don't know if I need to switch internet
Sure, go ahead.
things real quick, okay?
Yep.
I left my parents' house and came outside to the RV. And if I got to, and I saw you
A little
buffering
flickering.
a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, so I was like, I forgot to change the
Uh-oh.
internet. All
There
right.
you
So we're good now.
go. Okay.
So I mentioned that peace thing to you, David, because I remembered that it's probably been 6 months now. I mentioned to a friend of mine, man, I'd like to get the Nobel Peace Prize one day. And I wasn't being prideful about it. I said that because I just want YBAngry to have that much of an effect on our country and the world. I told him it would be nice if 20 years from now, there's so much peace in the world and so much less crime, and families are staying together longer. And somebody said, man, what happened? And they some university does a research and find that 20 years ago, this guy, Rod Jeter, came up with this game, YBAngry, and couples just started staying together longer. And the divorce rate dropped. There are fewer kids growing up in single parent homes, less teenage pregnancies, and less high school dropouts. Fewer kids getting involved in gangs and going to jail. And hey, we noticed that when people were happier at home, they came to work happier. So the work morale and productivity increased starting about 20 years ago. And, that's just my hope that I can talk to enough people and affect enough families to where this will actually become a reality.
I love it. What are some of the relationship roadblocks that you come across sitting at the kitchen table with a couple as they play the game for the first time and the conversation starts happening, flowing? What are some of the roadblocks you see that kind of present themselves in a relationship? You're like, oh, I've seen this before. I can see there's something that's in between two people that's keeping them from communicating properly. What kind of examples you got?
So a story comes to mind right away when you ask me that. So give me, but the short answer is, I think we, as just regular people, all think we communicate well. Now, some people may articulate better than others, and they think they communicate well, but maybe they don't listen well. I think most people, when they are trying to resolve a disagreement, they still want to be right. So it's them against their partner on who's going to be right. So they're not on the same side. And they don't know their partner as well as they think they do because they haven't been able to communicate. The partner has held back on saying things because they don't want to cause drama, or you have held back on saying things because you don't want to cause drama. But the story that came up immediate to me is, which is kind of funny for me, is I was in Charleston, South Carolina at my best friend's house, or in the Charleston area. And I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, David. I don't like to get up early. I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get somewhere in Georgia by noon to a couple that had been referred to me. Most all of my clients are referrals. So I show up at this nice house, and it was a really nice, they were, I don't even know the kind of houses those were. They looked like they were old houses that were brand new. It was really nice. The whole street was really, really nice. So they blew it. So anyway, I ring the doorbell. The guy lets me in, David, and says, come on in. And the lady upstairs says, I'll be down in a minute. So the guy walks me over to the kitchen table. And I tell him, just like I tell everybody, hey, the first step in this process is you guys have to agree on just one issue to settle today. And he says, oh, man, we've been fighting already this morning. And I was like, oh, no. Because people are less resourceful when they're upset and angry, and I need them to be in a good place. And that's probably one of the reasons why the game environment works, because we're going to have a game. We're supposed to have fun. We're not supposed to be fighting. Anyway, she comes downstairs all happy and gives me a hug and everything. And we sit at the kitchen table. And so I repeat to her that the first step is we have to agree on one issue to resolve. And I don't remember which one of them mentioned an issue, but as soon as that person mentioned it, they started fussing and fighting about it. I mean, they were not throwing blows, but it seemed like they were about to. And I'm like, wait, let's just play the game. I can help you on that one. And the other person said, what about a different issue? And they started fussing and fighting about that. And I said, hold on. I think we can fix this. And then another person mentioned something. David, I'm telling you, it was 6 or 7 times I was trying to get them to stop and let's resolve that one issue that they had just mentioned.
Just one, yeah.
Yeah. And the guy says, now, the guy was a retired military, so I'm not sure how flexible he was. And they had only been married for a year, right? And so he says, he waves his hand and says, look, I told you, I'm almost done with this thing. And I said to myself, wait a minute, are they talking about the relationship or the game? Because we haven't even started playing the game yet. And then I started feeling bad because, man, I got up this early and drove this far, and I'm not even going to get a video out of it. Because, I didn't have anything to do with what they had going on. I was thinking about me and being able to share with my audience, the YouTube audience. And she says, well, I can go upstairs and pack my stuff now. And I was like, uh-oh. And she said to myself, and she goes, and he says something. She said, I can go upstairs and pack my stuff now. Again. Anyway, I said, wait, let's just play this one, which was the last one they mentioned. Should she clean the bathroom? Can we do that? Please, can we just do that? And they said, yes. So we started to play. I started setting them up to play the game. And then I was like, oh no, what have I done? I might have gotten up this early in the morning and driven this far just to record my first loss, because at that time, and it's still the case, the game was undefeated. Okay. Now I hate to go through all this just to record a loss, right?
Right.
Anyway, they played the game, and most people, they're going to write down 8, 9, 10 cards when they're playing the game. But most people will settle the issue on the first card, and which is the most important point in the issue, the most important detail in the issue. And that's why it resolves so fast, because we talk about the most important part of it. And but when it was over, she's throwing her hands in the air and hugging him, and it was just great. And what I learned at that one was, now when I go after that, when I go set up to record a couple, I start recording from the beginning. I don't wait until the game starts, because I would have loved to be able to show the fight that was going on, and then show how it ended with her arms in the air, like they were victorious. It was pretty cool.
And that's the picture on your website, right?
That is.
Yeah.
It is. I just put that up there.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me of
See,
that.
there you go. It's right there. I can see
Yeah,
her head's pointing up to the sky, hands
right.
raised. Yeah.
I just put it up there just last week, and he has his head down. Is his head down?
Yeah, heads down. Looks like he's writing.
Right, because they're not even finished the game yet.
Whoa.
They're not even finished. He had he was talking while he was writing, and just what he had said was enough for her to feel the way she felt. And the game was ending. It was good.
Nice.
It was really great.
See?
Yeah.
And so it's proven.
Oh, it's proven.
The game hasn't lost yet.
No, not
Nice.
yet.
Nice.
There are three rules, three ground rules, David. And I'm confident now. And I can tell you several stories where I said to myself, oh my, I don't know if they're going to be able to resolve this. You know, when they tell me what their issue they want to settle is. But now I'm willing to just take on anything because every time it works. As long as three things happen. First, they have to be honest about whatever they're going to agree to talk about. Because, you know, if they're going to be fibbing or not be forthcoming, then nothing's going to work. No type of counseling is going to work.
Yeah.
The second thing is they both have to want to be in a relationship. Because, again, it's the kind of game where you can't win by yourself. The relationship has to win or you both lose.
Exactly.
And the third thing is they both have to be able to count to 14, or at least one of them have to be able to count to 14, because there are 14 steps in the game and they're numbered. All you have to do is do 1, 2, 3, just follow the steps. It's just that those steps might not feel natural because, you know, for 40 or 50 or 30 years, however long you've been resolving your disagreements or trying to, you've been doing it a certain way. You've been responding really fast and, you know, stuff like this. This causes you to slow down, and you have to do it in a certain order.
Yeah.
So if they do that, then it's going to work. And I contend that I'm sure one day I'm going to meet a couple and the game's not going to work. But what that means is somebody's lying or somebody doesn't want to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, if the other partner realizes that, it's still a win. No need staying in it and continuing the fight and all of this stuff. Even if one person is not being forthcoming, like I told you, on average, the issues resolved on average in less than 26 minutes. Well, one day I recorded one and it went for like an hour and 14 minutes, which is still great, right? But I'm like, I'm saying to myself, what's going on here? You know, we're on our fourth card now in the game. And so this one was, if someone goes and watches that video on YouTube, the title of that one is, Should I Have to Tell Him Where I'm Going?
Mm.
So this couple, a younger couple, they're both in their 20s, are at odds about whether she should have to tell him where she's going all the time. And so I'm saying this should be fairly easy. So they're playing the game, and at the end of the first card where the game would normally end, the lady says, well, I see what you're saying, but I don't think I owe you that, which means they had to keep going to play the next card. And again, I'm thinking they are about to end the game, and she sees him and agrees with him and says, but I don't think I owe you that again. And it isn't until the fourth card where she says, well, you told me you were going to the store and I found out that you were over here somewhere else. So when you tell me where you're going, I don't know that I can believe that, which was really the issue in the beginning. And if she had been forthcoming and just said that in the beginning, they could have ended the game so much sooner instead of later.
Yeah.
You know, I have just whenever the game goes past the first card, that's the reason why somebody's just messing around a little bit and not wanting to be painfully honest. Now, there's one time that wasn't the case. Sometimes it'll go to the second card, and that's because the other person wants to talk about their main issue. So the first card was maybe a player might have been her main issue, and the second card may be his main issue. So another one where I thought they were not going to be able to resolve it was this couple. That one was, should we spank the kids? I think that was the title, should we spank the kids? And the reason why I didn't think they were going to resolve it was they were not married yet. They were engaged to get married. The guy, he said he grew up getting his bottom whooped bad. He said his mom was like, this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. And he said, no, it's not. But he said his mom would just wail on him. And she, the lady, grew up never getting spankings. So they were far off on that. But that wasn't the thing. The thing was, there were 4 kids, and all the kids were hers.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, man.
Oh, boy.
That's a totally different twist on it. So, but they sat down and played the game, and they resolved it. Not on the first card. They were, in my opinion, they were done at the first card. And I think you can see it in the video. They were done on the first card, but she wanted to talk about her card. So they went on just for that. And that reminds me of another one, the couple that had the 57-year issue. They were settled on the first card either, but the guy said, no, let's go to the second card. I just want to make sure that she's okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love it. Yeah. So Rod, like it's framed in the context of a relationship between married partners, but as you're talking, I'm curious to know if this would work for a single parent and a teenager. Could we work through our issues from a parent to a student with the same game? Would that be, is that too far of an overreach for the context of the game?
Right. So David, when I was putting this game together, I tried to set it up so that it would work in a bunch of different arenas, and I was just getting nowhere. So I said, you know what, let me focus on romantic couples. They don't have to be married, but just people in romantic relationships. So that's, right now, I know the game is undefeated with that. Now, I believe it will work for parents and kids as long as they are of similar maturity.
Yeah.
For example, a 33-year-old mom is not probably going to be able to win the game with her 15-year-old son if the issue is, should he be able to stay out all night?
Exactly.
He's not mature enough. Yeah. Or, a 30-year-old mom is not going to be able to, or a father is not going to be able to win the game with a 5-year-old as to why he can eat candy before dinner. But I've done it with parents and kids, and it worked. They were adult kids, though.
Yeah. Okay. That's good context.
Right. It will work. But and remember too, and I have not played the game with friends, people that are like best friends, because they might not be in a romantic relationship. I haven't done it with best friends, and I haven't done it with sisters or brothers. But remember, the number 2 rule is that they both have to want to be in the relationship. Now, I think if that is still intact, in play, and they both are this similar maturity level, it would work.
Okay. Yeah. And like you said, those 3 ground rules are the key to the game. So keeping that in mind. In context, yes, exactly. A 20, 30-year-old adult with a 4-year-old, probably not going to be as the results may vary.
Right.
But at least I love the idea that you're bringing couples together, Rod. That's amazing. So as far as being able to get the game, like I'm in Canada, for example, and we have listeners around the world, to buy the game and to buy the book, where are we going to actually make our purchase? How do we actually get our hands on these two great items?
YBAngry.net.
Okay.
They just go to YBAngry.net and you'll see there are links there to purchase the game. There are links there to purchase the book. And also even on my website, there is I really would like your listeners to click on the link to get the 3 free tips. It's near the
I see that
top
there.
part somewhere.
Yep.
And if they click on that link, it'll ask for the email address, and I will send them a short video of how to resolve disagreements quickly, without arguing. And also near the bottom of the page, there are I don't know how many, but a ton of links. And the link might be titled, "Should She Initiate Sex More Often?" which is my most common issue I help people resolve. Or should he buy a Harley? Do you help me enough at home? Those links are videos of couples actually playing the game to resolve that disagreement.
Does he play video games too much? That's a good one.
And that's that couple is, I guess is okay, is that they're in their 60s. And
wow.
But I find, David, that no matter how big the issue is, how big the disagreement, it really narrows down to, you must be looking at something funny.
Yeah. Does she need a TV in every room? I love the titles of these. Yes.
Right. These are the problems that people have. But no matter how big the disagreement is, it really always boils down to communication. We think we know how to communicate well or listen well, but we just don't. And somehow the game just simplifies it. It makes it easier for people to just go step by step and resolve the disagreement.
I love it.
And if people, if any of your listeners feel like they need hands-on, my direct help, if they click on the link near the top where I don't even know what
I'm on your site right now. Yeah.
What it's titled, because I just put it up there. What you see, David?
So I see the clicks to watch the videos. I see the dream. I see the buy the game. You buy the book.
Oh, so yeah, the very top one where the lady's throwing their hands up.
Yep.
They click on the Save Your Relationship in Less Than 4 Weeks.
4 weeks. Yep.
They can hear about my program.
Okay.
And all the program does is we work to make them good at this process. And I call it the YBAngry game approach. So over 4 weeks, I meet with them directly and help them get good at this, either virtually, which is ideally, or if I'm local, I can do it in person.
Good. I love it.
They listen to a little bit and yeah.
Well, Rod, I don't think that Nobel Peace Prize is that far away from you, just so you know. And on this path and journey that you're on to help couples, I don't think it's impossible. I'm going to tell you. I'm excited.
Well, you're a pretty good guy. Maybe you can get yourself on that committee and make it easier for me.
I will work on that. And sharing your message and helping couples by coming on and talking on the podcast is one other way to share the message, right? So that more people know about it. And I'm excited to hear, what's going to come next for you and follow your journey again as you go and sit down at tables in people's homes and have these great conversations. And again, the creativity to see something, figure out how you could help, create something for couples that gets them talking, breaks down these walls, and does it in a less threatening environment of, well, you said this and you said that. You're taking all that away. And the game becomes this neutral ground where we can get together and have a conversation without feeling like we're being attacked. Right. So that's the beautiful thing about the game and the book as well. So Rod, I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
And again, if people are listening and you want a little bit more of Rod's story, you can head over to Dad's Space because we got a little bit more over there as well. But Rod, I'm really excited to have you here. I think you're a creative man, very, very insightful. You're not just some general guy. We talked about that. There's something special about you and what your mission is. So my encouragement to you to keep moving forward. I'm cheering you on up here in Canada. I can't wait to see what's next for you in the game and the book. There's something big coming for you down the road. I can't wait to see what that is.
Hey, David, you asked me why it works. One of the links on my website is why they say it works. So if they go there, there's a video of some of my past clients saying why it helped them, why they think they were able to resolve their disagreements. And you mentioned what's next. I actually started a year ago working on a phone app to help couples work through their disagreements with their phone app. Now, it has to work a certain way in order for it to have the same success rate. And the company I was using a year ago just were not coming through and meeting their milestones the way I needed them to, so I dropped that. And right now I am trying to get it going again, and hopefully in a few months and the app will be done. And if you know anybody, if any of your listening audience out there has contacts in the TV world, I'd like to do a live TV show where, sort of like Jerry Springer, but none of the he slept with my sister thing.
No throwing chairs. No.
We just have an audience full of couples, and the couples will type in the problem they're having and how long it's been going on. And then maybe the TV audience will get their vote on which couple gets to come up on stage.
Come on.
And then they will kind of on the big screen, with the big screen in their background, work out their own disagreement without a therapist or a coach. I'll be there to make sure they play the game right. I'll be the referee. But besides that, the studio audience and the TV audience can watch people resolve all these different disagreements, and I think that would be interesting.
Interesting. I would watch that 100%.
Good.
There you go.
Because some of these issues are kind of juicy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And hey, when you see people, or when you watch the YouTube videos and you see people playing the game, the couples playing the games, and they're laughing, there's nothing in the game that's funny. There are no jokes in there. The people are just laughing about what the other person, what their partner is saying, or what's been said.
Yeah.
And which never happens when you're trying to resolve a disagreement with your spouse, So, I'm looking forward to a lot.
I love it. So a big TV producer listening to the podcast, all the information to reach out to Rod is in the show notes. You can reach out to him directly. I'm sure he would love an email or a phone call from you about maybe starting a TV show. Come on. No. Why not, right? Why not?
Right.
We need something that helps people.
Right.
Enough of this other stuff that doesn't help and doesn't make people's lives better. We're done with that. We want people like you on television that are going to help people get better. So
let's change the world.
I love it. Let's do it. And again, we'll have links to your YouTube channel, and I encourage everyone to go watch all of the links there and watch all the videos. Buy the game, buy the book. YBAngry.net is the website, and that'll be all in the show notes as well. Rod, again, thank you so much for being on Living the Next Chapter.
Thank you, David.
Hey, thanks for checking out the latest episode of Living the Next Chapter. I'm so happy to bring on these amazing authors and to share their stories, but I do have to confess I have a problem. And people who know me best would say, Dave, you have more than one problem. My problem is I have more episodes than I can release to you through my audio host, but I have a solution for you. Oh, yes. Head over to our YouTube channel. Subscribe today to our YouTube channel, and you can get the most recent episode. I'm posting this episode today that I recorded today, and you can get it now on YouTube. Jump the line, move right past that big burly guy at the door. You can get right in and get the most recent episode of Living the Next Chapter on our YouTube channel. Make sure you go there. livingthenextchapter.com has all the information. And again, I want to thank you for making this podcast such a great joy to create. Catch you on the next one.
Hey there, fellow parent. If you're anything like me, balancing screen time for our kids is a constant struggle. That's why I want to share a little secret with you, KidsPod. It's this amazing app I found that's packed with podcasts just for kids. Imagine stories, learning, and fun, all without the screen. It's been a game changer in our house, keeping my kids engaged and their imaginations running wild. And guess what? It's completely free. So download KidsPod today. Trust me, it's a decision you won't regret.